Welcome back to Legacy Build Your Kingdom. I'm Rudy Knapp, and this is episode 45, I believe, and we are deep into year 2 of our mission. If you've been following along, you know we don't do surface level here. We go to the root. We dive deep. Last week, we discussed the sovereign table. We talked about relationship intelligence, the idea that a king is only as strong as the alliances he builds within the walls of his own home. But there's a vital layer to that table that I want to double back on today, because it's the bridge to our topic of time. When we sit at the sovereign table, we aren't just sitting there to eat. We're bringing our heirs to the table. In my coaching, I see too many men who think their work is what they do in the office, and home is where they go to collapse. This is a servant's mindset. A king understands that the most important board meeting of the day happens at the dinner table. You are showing your children the ways of the kingdom. You are including them in what we call a family brand. Whether it's your last name, whether your last name is Knapp, whether it's Smith, Jones, Jordan, that name represents a brand. What does that brand stand for? Discipline, faith, resilience. If you aren't intentionally teaching your heirs the family values, the world will teach them theirs. Think about that. Do you want the world to dictate the values that your children have? Or are you the one that's going to implement the core values from your family, what your last name stands for, that brand? But here is the legacy gap. You cannot lead your heirs if you are a slave to your phone. You cannot show them the ways of a king if your time is owned by your boss, your notifications, or your own lack of discipline. People always ask me, they say, hey, Rudy, how did you finish 75 hard? And how did you do it back to back? How did you do 150 days of 2 workouts, a gallon of water, no alcohol, no cheat meals, and reading every single day, taking a selfie, all while training to run a marathon afterwards, or after that, building, a coaching business, building your own website, designing your own app for your life coaching business. Yeah, a lot of accomplishments that I have there, and that's great. And I'm going to, be proud of those things. Never own up to things that you have done and not be proud of what you've done. But how do you do that? How do you do all of those things? And the answer is that I'm not a superhero. The answer is that I stopped being a manager and I became a sovereign. A manager reacts to chaos. A sovereign dictates order. Today, we're going to weaponize the next 24 hours that you have in your life. We are going to look deep, not surface, into what your time is spent doing. And when you take control of your time, when you truly look at yourself and you decide what is important versus what isn't important, then you can accomplish anything that you'd like. So let's talk about this. Let's look at that L.O.S.T framework that I've talked about many times. I talk about it in my coaching. I talked about it on this podcast, but lazy, L. O, out of control. S, stagnant. T, tortured. What does that mean to us? If you feel lazy, you feel out of control, you feel stagnant, you feel tortured, that L.O.S.T, that lost, you are a victim of control when you lost control of your own life. Most men are tortured, T, because they have a 10-year vision, but a 10-minute attention span. They are stagnant, S, because they are busy, but they aren't productive. Being busy is often just a socially acceptable way of being lazy. It's lazy because you're doing the easy, loud tasks including, you know, some of those things that you know you can do better. You're doing the easy tasks instead of the hard. The quiet ones that actually move the needle should be the ones that you're focused on. We need to perform what I call a forensic time audit. If I took your phone out right now and I looked at your screen, what would it tell me about your kingdom? If I looked at your bank statement and compared it to your calendar, would they match? We claim our family is our priority, but our calendar says email is our priority. Social media is our priority. We claim our health is a pillar, but our calendar says Netflix is a pillar. The sovereignty principle is this: you do not find time, you command it. I want you to look at your last 48 hours. I want you to categorize every hour. Was it kingdom building or was it mundane maintenance? If you spent 90% of your day in maintenance, answering issues or arguments or fires that happen in your job, reacting to texts, drifting through chores, you are out of control. You are a passenger in your own life. You're not a king. To bring your heirs to the table with authority, you have to show them a father or mother who owns his or her day. You have to move from reacting to the world to governing your world. So how do we fix this? We use this 3-block system that I talk about. This is called the blueprint. This is an architecture I used to survive 150 straight days of that 75 hard program, or how I used it to launch my business or make my website. You start off with block 1, the foundation. This is the first 90 minutes of your day. This is your spiritual and physical pillar out of the 5 pillars I discussed. We'll go over them real quick. We talk about your spiritual uplift. That's pillar number 1. We talk about your mental health growth, pillar number 2. We talk about your physical enhancement, pillar number 3. We talk about your career and financial development. That's pillar number 4. And we talk about your relationship and emotional intelligence. That's pillar number 5. These are the foundation of your life that you must balance in order for your life to be at peace, to be stress-free, to continue to grow, to become a king. So again, the first 90 minutes, your spiritual and physical pillar. The moment you wake up, the world is trying to rob you. The news, the emails, the urgent requests. If you check your phone within the first 10 minutes, you have to surrender your crown. You're not a king, you're not a queen. Someone else owns you. The routine. In that first 90 minutes, you anchor yourself. You talk to God. You habit stack, as we talked about many times on this. You move your body. In your training plans, in my training plans on, my legacy coaching app that I created. This is an app that will be available on Google Play next week. It'll be available on the iPhone App Store. I emphasize that physical movement is a mental reset. When you sweat before your world wakes up, you are telling your body, I am the king here. This allows you to walk into the kitchen and see your heirs not as a distraction, but as your primary mission. So again, if you take a look at these tools to help you guide your way, like this app that I have that will be out, you have the ability to take ownership of your own life. I am the king here. Block 2, the conquest. This is your deep work from 9 a.m. to noon, or whatever your peak window is, whatever that is in your day that with work and certain things. You are in the conquest. This is a 3 to 4 hour of high intensity focus time frame. You have to understand that you have to set your time for your day as a priority. This is the rule. No meetings, no quick chats, no social media. This is where you lay the heavy bricks. This is, if you are a business owner, this is your strategy. If you're a salesman, this is your prospecting. If you are a creator, this is your building. Most men waste their best energy on their easiest tasks. A sovereign does the hardest work when he is at his strongest. Think about that primary time in the beginning of your day. You're full of energy. You get things done. This is block number 2, the conquest. Block number 3, the connection. This is the table. This is the block that most high performers fail at. They win at the office, but they lose at home. So what kind of shift will you make? When you transition from work to home, you aren't clocking out. You are clocking in to the most important role that you have. This is where you bring the heirs to the table. You are present. You are listening. You are teaching the family brand. This block requires as much discipline as training for a marathon or running a marathon. It means putting the phone in the drawer or away or on the table away from you so that your children know that they are more important than any notification. Very hard to do. I understand the phone is a link to society, is a link to everything else we do. Disconnect it, remove it, get rid of it, and show your most important people that they matter more than all of that. In these 3 blocks, you are creating an atmosphere where you take back being a king or a queen. So, you cannot protect your family name if you are a people pleaser. Every yes you give to a meaningless meeting or a distraction is a no to your heirs. I've learned through the Chicago Marathon and through 150 days of discipline that the word no is a shield. When people saw me doing 75 hard, I used to be at parties and they would say to me, "Come on, Rudy, just have a drink. Come on, you want to do a shot. You want to have some alcohol. You want to eat this cookie." I've had people tell me to skip my second workout. "Come on, come hang out with us or come do this. Can you just skip one workout?" You know how many times I've had to say no in my life? No, not because I was being mean or I don't want to hang out with them or I want to be ignorant, to their hospitality, because I had a higher yes waiting for me. Your family name, your legacy, requires you to be the gatekeeper. If someone asks for an hour of your time, they're asking for an hour of your life. They're asking for an hour you could have spent training your son, talking to your daughter, doing something with your family. And again, there are times you're going to spend away from your family that are benefiting your life. But we're talking about meaningless. We're talking about meaningless parts that we should be saying no to. Before you say yes to anything this week, ask yourself, does this help me build the kingdom for my heirs? Or is it just noise? If it is not a hell yes that helps your life, that you truly know is going to help your kingdom, then it should be a firm no. Not an in-between, not indecisive. You should know your values. We're going to close out today with a call to action. Stop telling yourself you're too busy. Busy is a lie we tell ourselves to feel important while we remain stagnant. If you need the tools to help this structure, if you're too tired of being lost, go download this legacy coaching app that I have coming out. Or get on my website and reach for me. I'll put you on track. I promise you. I have several clients over that have been successful, that will tell you exactly what has happened to change their lives. I designed this app, this coaching app, to be a tool I wish I had when I started doing all these things, when I started getting my life back on track. It's got training plans to get your body right, and it has meal plans to keep your mind straight and sharp and get you to where you want to be and feel confident. It has check-ins and journaling. It has a concept of being able to reach me for questions. It has competition. It has videos implemented into it. It has a lot of things, and it's going to be awesome. And I hope it helps people, because again, my purpose in life from God Himself is to kind of help people get to be the best of their own ability, to build confidence in those around me. And I hope it helps you. So, generally, ask yourself these questions. And if you get on my website, www.legacycoaching-buildyourkingdom.com, we can get your vision redefined. We can schedule how to get your life on track to be a king or a queen. I'm telling you, everybody needs help. Everybody needs a push. Everybody needs a reset at times. You can ask some of my clients right now. From a client who never stepped foot in the weight room, started 3 months ago, and lifting 60 pounds on the bench, all of a sudden is lifting 230 pounds because he wants to get stronger. He wants to be ready to become a fireman. How cool is that? In 3 months' time, you went from 60 pounds to 230 pounds on a bench. That's called strength. That's called confidence. That's called results. From a woman who wanted to lose some weight, and in the first 3 to 4 weeks is down 17 pounds because of the meal plan that we put together, because of hard work, because of determination, changing her mindset, to looking at herself in the mirror and saying, this is what I truly want for my kids to look up and model for them. Put it in perspective. You want change in your life. Summertime is here. Reach out to me, text me, call me, go on my website, contact me, take a look at it. So, your heirs are waiting for you to lead. I mean, your children are there. They're just waiting. Your family brand is waiting for you to define it. Your kingdom isn't built in a day, but it is built daily. Don't wake up tomorrow and ask the world for permission. Wake up and say, this is what my kingdom and my family name requires of me. Go out there, own your time, build your kingdom, be great. I'm Rudy Knapp, and I'll see you next week.